What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Restoration Rundown podcast, the podcast that's dedicated to you, the restoration and cleaning business owner. My name is Ben. I'm your host, and I'm also the CEO of Ironclad Restoration Marketing, where I help restoration and cleaning business owners get more sales by getting their internet marketing right. Now, we've got a very special episode planned for you today. It's going to back up a lot of the things that we've been talking about. So if you've been paying attention to everything we've been talking about when it comes to your Google business profile, formerly Google My Business, and how important it is to manage it, but more so help manage get reviews, then you're really going to want to turn into this episode because our guest today is changing the game. They're the disruptors in the industry doing a great thing. I'm very happy to bring him on. His company, Liftify, is an online reputation management solution for you to help you get those reviews, because we know how challenging it is, especially in a restoration world, to get your customers to leave you online reviews. So we're going to talk a lot about how important it is to do so and learn a little bit more about his company. And I want you to help me welcome Mr. Zach Garrett from Liftify to the Restoration Rundown. Zach, what is up, man?
Hey, Ben, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Hey, the pleasure is all mine. Man, I had such a great time getting to know your company, hearing not even from you, but just so many people have been referring to Liftify in the last few months. That's just a testament, I guess, to how great the type of service you guys are offering to people out there. But for anybody that's not familiar with Liftify, Zach, I would like to get a little bit of your background and how you kind of tie into the industry a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, talking about that a little bit first.
Yeah, well, I think people are probably talking about it because for the first time in what I feel like a long time, they have hope that they can get reviews in the restoration space. It is possible. And we have a lot of people. That's the first thing they say is I've just lost hope. Everybody can do this except for me. And so we're out there just sharing with them. It is possible for you to get reviews, just like your other peers that run different kinds of businesses. And we'll get into, the challenges that uniquely face restoration and how to solve for those and add some value. But to give you just a quick background on our business. So I kind of cut my teeth in marketing in a Fortune 1000 company, ended up leading digital marketing for them. And during that time, just used home service businesses for my own life. We had to replace a roof after a storm. We put in a patio, moved to a new place, had to find a place to take our cars. And each time, the only thing I did was look at Google reviews. And I was consistently frustrated with how few recent reviews companies had. Like, I wanted to see people like yesterday or last week that had a good experience with these companies, and there just wasn't a lot of content there. And so it was just this question of, I think I'm not the only one that struggles with this in getting reviews. So how do we make sure that how do we help companies do this better? There's got to be a solution here. I think these matter to companies. I think everybody does this today. And so to make a long story short, we just literally started meeting with business owners, small business owners. We're based in Indianapolis, and just started meeting with them really during the beginning of COVID. So it was all on Zoom, and they weren't doing anything. So they weren't, they couldn't go in people's houses or do work. So we started talking to them, and every company that we talked to said, hey, are reviews important? Like, would you like to get them? And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely. We'd love to get reviews. Well, how do you do that in your business? And that answer was all over the board, from trying technology to yelling at their technicians in the field to get them, to whatever strategies, and it just wasn't working. And so we really worked hand in hand with small businesses to figure out the process and the solution to really help them get reviews and to take it off their plate and kind of figure out the secret sauce, if you will, that we like to think we have to help make this process easy. And in the restoration world, to give hope, to people to say you can do this in this space. So we started just 3 years ago as a startup, bootstrapped the business. Today we serve close to 1,000 business locations all across North America, all kinds of different industries, a lot in the home services space, a lot of restoration type companies, that serve consumers. And are growing our team and think the potential is huge. And we're just out there trying to spread the word, to your point, not just about us, but about how much reviews can impact your business, how much a role they play in your Google business profile. That is so critical. Just the business profile in general. I think people don't understand, the full value that has.
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to help share that. On the personal side or outside of that, we're based in Indianapolis is where we are. In addition to the business, I've got 3 kids under 5. We've got like 4 kids. We've got 3 kids, and then the business is like a child too. So every day you just try to keep them all alive at this point is the stage that we're in. So we've got a, young family, young growing team, but are super kind of motivated and passionate about helping local businesses. My dad ran a local business when I was growing up. Extremely passionate about helping serve them well, as I know you are, Ben. And there's a lot of not good stuff out there in marketing, right? That's targeted towards small businesses. So when we can come in with something really good that we know is going to help, it makes it easy to get up in the morning and go do it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that background. I mean, I think it's inspiring to anybody out there, especially when, we chatted a little bit before this on a couple calls, and I found it very refreshing that we shared a very similar mentality when it comes to really wanting to genuinely help people do things the right way. A lot of times we're screaming into the wind as digital marketers and as agency owners, and especially with what you do, because, there's a very, as nuanced and as ambiguous as some of this stuff is, there's a very black and white process that needs to happen in order to make things happen the way you want them to do. And in the service-based industry, your Google business profile is probably the most important channel you need to be focusing on, if nothing else, to try to get that visibility, because those maps rankings are your bread and butter, right? Popping up for local search in the maps is going to make or break most businesses. And I don't think people really just truly understand. I think it's a twofold. I think people don't understand how important it is to do that. And two, with the difficulty of getting those reviews in the first place, and the old adage where, most people set up their Google business profile, it was an afterthought. It's like, all right, we got one. It's a nice backlink, big deal. We'll get a review. We'll get 6 or 7 reviews for the first couple of weeks that we're open. And then we don't get another one for years. And, entrepreneurs, business owners, especially in a service base, are so focused on serving their business and managing people that's hasn't been super important to them. But, people like you and what I'm screaming about all the time on the podcast and to our clients is that, like, it is a crucial building block into your business and your online visibility. So, a little bit of kudos to you for being such a young company. I mean, you've won, I'm looking on here, multiple awards in the industry. I mean, you guys have scaled like in an incredible manner. So I think that's, again, just a testament to how great of a service you offer, because we know that this industry is small and people talk. And if you weren't doing the right thing, you probably wouldn't be where you are now, nor even talking to me on this podcast right now. So big kudos for you out there. So to move on a little bit, you spoke to the home services industry a little bit, and, we know how important it is to get reviews, but can you speak a little bit more, just so it's somebody else besides me talking about it, how important it is and why Google reviews, building or online reviews in general are important in the grand scheme of things when it comes to your visibility online?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're talking to people, we'll share kind of 4 principles. Like, if you think, should I get reviews? Like, is it important to my strategy in how I'm doing it? Whether you work with us or you do it on your own, you work with somebody else. The first and most obvious factor that I'm sure you preach, Ben, is it has direct ramifications for your Google search algorithm. I mean, if you do not get reviews, you will get beat in showing up in the local maps power pack, as Google calls it, in your local results, not even just for your Google profile, but it also ties to your website, right? So if you want to rank high on Google and get free organic leads, reviews is a primary driver, of that page that you have. So it absolutely matters for search. It also matters for consumer confidence or getting chosen, just like you do in your personal life. When you go into a restaurant or you're looking for a home service company, if one company has 500 reviews and the other one has 5, which one are you going to click on to call? And it needs to reinforce all of your other marketing. And so that's the obvious one. Everybody knows that they do influence, and they create bias when you're searching towards the companies with more reviews. And you may even be willing to pay more because they have the proven customer track record, right? With those companies. And so the obvious one, it impacts search. It matters to consumers. But long-term, we always really challenge people to think about your reviews are really your reputation, right? And when you go to sell a business or you're looking for a valuation, or you want to get out of it one day, what are you selling? You may sell some equipment. You're selling your reputation, right? You're selling the trust that you have. And we've had many of our customers go through that process, work with a lot of franchises and, different businesses where they might sell their business. And every time they sold their business for more because they were the most attractive company in their area to buy in that industry. And so if you're better at getting reviews and building an online reputation than your competition, not just today or tomorrow or next year, but what about over the next 5 years or 10 years, then your business, you're going to change the multiple, that you can sell that business for one day if you want to. And so a lot of times people aren't thinking long-term, how do you build that reputation? But we always push on that. And then lastly, the other factor that we see is it actually helps with recruiting talent as well. A third of employees have turned down jobs because of a company's online reviews. So as you're looking to hire technicians, office staff, a marketing person, a sales rep, those people are looking at your reviews and they're saying, is this a place I want to work? Is this a place I'm going to be successful if I go here? And you want that answer to be, yes, I want to work in this culture. Like their customers love them. They do a good job. This is going to be a good place for me to grow, as an individual. And so we always, kind of share that lens of, yes, it's good for search, but it also really impacts people's buying behavior. It matters to your long-term value and it drives employees. So it really touches every part of your business. And the better you do it, the more it's going to help. There's really no negative, right, to having a really strong online reputation. And companies' reputations have always mattered. It's just now it's online, right? And if so many great businesses had a great reputation for so long offline as people just doing word of mouth, well, the internet is the new word of mouth, right? Yeah. And you have to have a good reputation there.
Yeah, no, I love that. And those are all great points. So, hey, you guys hear that out there? I've been saying this stuff for quite a while now. Zach, you nailed it. I think on one hand, just to recap, it directly affects your search, right? It used to be more relevant in the map section, but with this latest algorithm, the update in 21, where we went from Google My Business to Google Business Profile, we're finding, and there is very, very strong correlations with your organic search. So if you're spending money on SEO, right, and you don't want to waste it, and you're not properly managing your Google Business Profile, not from just the reviews are the most powerful part, but all the other nuanced modalities that you would use to rank better in the map section, you're really just kind of watering down your gas. Now, from a conversion perspective, I love that you said that. People are going to read your reviews, right? And more apt, and I don't know what the statistics are right now, but I think it's a very large percentage of them are only going to pay attention to the reviews that were given in the last couple months. They want to look at recent reviews, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, and I think that was really cool that you mentioned is, and you didn't use these words, but we talk about these things in the digital world as assets, as tangible assets, right? You used to be able to build, you have a fleet of vehicles. You've got great managers, you've got a great CEO, whatever the case may be. Those are great assets to have. But when it comes to your brand, you are building a tangible asset with your social media profiles, with your Google Business Profile, with your organic rankings, with your processes and systems that bring in leads. And if you are going to sell your business, which I think a lot of people have a misconception about selling. We had GoCool from Restoration Brokers, and I think that this huge percentage of people, they think, oh, I'm going to hand this down to my kids. I think it's like only 10% of businesses are able to do something like that, right? So at the end of the day, you should have an exit strategy. So having a tangible asset of a great reputation is something that you can hold now in this online marketplace that we live in. So if you want good results to get leads, inbound leads, and get a perpetual pipeline built, you need reviews. You need to manage it. If you want people to find you, but then actually call you, you need to have good reviews, or at least be able to have some sort of system to respond and deal with the reviews in some sort of way. And then if you end up having an exit plan, and you want to sell your business, then your reviews are a very powerful thing that you can add on as icing on the cake for your company. When somebody's looking to buy a company, they're going to look into things like this. It's one of the bigger factors when I talk to these brokers that sell these businesses that, again, multiplies the amount of money that you can sell your business for. So I guess there's no negative unless you're providing such a terrible service that you just are not getting nothing but negative reviews, right? So if you're doing that and you're kind of hiding from it, then maybe this episode and this kind of stuff's not for you. But most business owners are out there to try to make money.
Ben, can I speak to that for a second?
Absolutely.
So the number one thing that we come up against when we're talking to businesses, and I just want to encourage those listening, is business owners have a bias towards thinking their company is not as good as it actually is.
Yes.
Because all day they just deal with the problems in their business. And so we come across so many businesses that when they start talking about getting reviews, they're in the back of their mind thinking about the two problems they dealt with, last month, or those crazy customers. And they make the decision, consciously or unconsciously, to say, we're not going to ask, because what if that one person left a bad review? And what they don't realize and they're not seeing is most of their company customers are happy. They do a great job for their customers and they deliver a great service. And at the expense of having 99 people vote for you and help you and drive your business forward, they're so scared of that one negative that it prevents them from taking advantage of it. And we do a lot of coaching around that. And I would just encourage, anybody listening to this who's like, I don't know if we should ask our customers for reviews. What if I get a bad one? I think we could have a longer conversation about how bad ones can be good for SEO and other things and authenticity, right? Every once in a while. But I just want to encourage, all of the restoration, owners out there, like, if you work hard, you run a good business, think about it. Your customers are happy and you need to get that feedback and tell other customers. And once people turn this kind of faucet on, I think a lot of them for the first time, like, have a pride that they've lost, in their business because they actually see like, hey, we do a great job. Like all this hard work that we're doing, like it's actually making a difference, for people.
Yeah.
And when you just deal with the mud and the muck of being a business owner, you're dealing with the problems, sometimes you can lose sight of that. So I just wanted to add that.
No, that was great. And I think it's a great point to hammer home, because we have clients that do the same thing. And let's face it, you're dealing in a lot of circumstances, you're dealing with residential, and anybody that's out there that's a contractor that deals with residential types of work, it's impossible to make everybody happy. There's so many different variables and so many different things that go into a positive experience. You can only control so much, right? And if you have that down, it'd be like, for agencies, some people ask you, can you guarantee SEO results? And it's almost the same thing. Like, no, that's like you guaranteeing that every single residence you walk in, that person's going to leave you an outstanding review. There's just too many variables that are out of your control to do so. So that's great. You shouldn't be scared to start this process because the benefits far outweigh the negative one of this. And really, yes. And I think we should have another episode and talk about negative reviews and how they impact and how to probably answer them. But Google's looking for authenticity. So, it's great to have 5 stars, but it's also, not too bad to see how your company addresses those things that when it's not going to be a win, it's not a home run, when there's things that are outside of your realm of being able to control. Google's looking at things like that. So I think that was great. And I really appreciate you adding that in, because I think a lot of people are listening to this or will listen to this and may see themselves in those shoes and be reluctant to start this process. But
and I always tell people, like, would you rather be a company that has 10 5-star reviews or 500 reviews at a 4.7 star?
Yeah.
Sign me up for the company with 500 reviews at a 4.7 star. I want to buy that one.
All day long. Yeah. And everybody people that should know how hard it is to get reviews. It's very hard. Most people, in the psychology behind it is when you're pissed off about something, it's a little easier to log into your Gmail, or if you're on Facebook or whatever the case may be, wherever you're going to leave the review and really type out your grievances to try to save everybody else from having a bad experience. So it's hard. So, you got to take that into consideration. Now, speaking of hard to get reviews, we know, we talked a little bit about this, the restoration world is a little bit of its own animal when it comes to getting reviews. And I really liked what you had to say about some of the challenges. I'd like for you to speak towards some of the challenges that the restoration and cleaning world, whether it's, online reviews, what are those challenges that are different than most home services, and maybe how you guys are fixing that and addressing those issues, because you guys are having a lot of success, more so than we've seen from anybody, really.
Yeah. And I think I just want to acknowledge first, like, it is hard for you to get reviews. And if you feel hopeless that you just can't get reviews, and your buddies own home service companies and it feels like they get a lot of reviews, it is hard in restoration to do it. And so you're not making that up. It is difficult. But I'll encourage you, that's not an excuse, to not get them, because you have the same benefits, right, that they're going to get.
Yes.
You've just got to acknowledge the things that are hard. So a couple kind of key things that we see, I think in the restoration space, what we've seen is kind of a primary challenge is in a lot of businesses, it doesn't really matter when you ask if it's relatively after the job. The customer's already signed up to pay a certain amount. Say you put in new floors at your house, or you put in a patio or whatever. You already committed to that, right? So once you pay that final bill and stuff, it doesn't really matter when you get that request. What we found in the restoration space is really the optimal time to get that review is after the job's completed and say the home is, restored, but before they get that bill, before they see, oh, wow, it was that much, that's more than I was expecting. Or, oh, my deductible is this. I actually have to pay out of pocket. I thought insurance is going to cover all of that, right? And so it's the nature of the work being in emergency services where they're signing up for the help before they understand the cost. And
Right.
if you can get that review before they have to do the payment, and that maybe changes the experience, that's a challenge, that is real in the business. I think the other thing that we see in this space is sometimes, and this isn't necessarily specific to restoration, just depends on the industry, but sometimes that person in the field might not be the best person to make the ask. Either the right person isn't there, they may not be the best person to deliver it. They're the person to go in and they're great at doing the work, but selling the customer on, hey, here's how you can help my business, please help me, whatever. It's just hard to get them to do that. It may not be in their skill set, where in other businesses, like we're in a custom closets business, and that designers working with them, they're basically a salesperson. It's a very natural, thing for them to do, right? In some industries like restoration, I don't think it's very natural, and it's very hard to get your frontline people to actually do that piece of it. And there might not always be the right moment, to do that. And then I think a third thing is, and this may be more for like commercial work, but you may not always interact with the right person. You might be working on a building and you've got an office person signing off on it, but that's not really the person you'd like a review from. And, you don't ask them or, whatever. And so that can be a challenge, as a whole. And then lastly, I think not to be disparaging, but it's true with a lot of the home services we work in, restoration companies are worse at getting the contact information from the people that they want than any industry I've ever worked in. And the good news is this one's in your control. Okay. The other ones we could talk about how we address, but if you're not capturing their mobile phone number, their email address, right? Like those are basics for you to market your business going forward, not just for reviews, for anything. And I think a lot of companies don't do that very well and they're not doing a good job with that piece of it. So those are some of the challenges that we see in the industry. And so kind of to answer the other part of your question, Ben, on how do we address some of those things? The first thing on the data part, we coach all of our customers through a process of here's what you need to start collecting right now, which is email, phone, get the right name. Don't just call it building one. Like who is the person, on the other side of that? And that's good for all your marketing. And so we'll coach you through how do you have really good contact data for your customers, and we'll show you how to do that. And then secondly, we're going to work with you on how to build a process or how to automate with your system, ideally, on how we can ask before that invoice goes out in an ideal world. So how do we get the review request to the customer, whether it's via email and text or some of the other strategies that you can trigger on your own, or we can automate it. We can talk through a game plan for your business, but how do we get that request to the customer at the optimal time? And then we make it really easy to respond. And for a lot of businesses, if they just had good data and they got the request every time at the right moment before that invoice, and they got it to them, and it didn't rely on their frontline teams to do it, and it was really easy for the customer, that's the other part, is it's got to be really easy for them. That's kind of unique, in the restoration space, how what we're doing and why I think it's working, we're getting the momentum that we are, is we look at every business and kind of build you a custom game plan. We have best practices that apply to most things, right? But we're going to give you a game plan and say, Ben, for your company, this is exactly what needs to happen. We're going to train your team up, or we're going to put in this process that's totally automated depending on your system, and what that looks like. And we're going to run it. And this is going to work, and we're going to make it better and better over time. And that's just really different value proposition than just saying, hey, company XYZ, just go buy another piece of software to email people. That's not the solution. Right. You need results. And so we've got the roadmap. We know exactly how to walk them through that and what it's going to take and what are the pitfalls there. And we'll navigate them through it so that they can succeed.
No, that's really great. And I wanted to take a step back too, just to drive it home for some people that maybe missed it, but it's such an important thing to ask at the end of the job when everybody is happy. They've got a new kitchen put in, they've got their flooring back in, their home has been remediated, and not waiting for that bill, because what happens when the bill comes before they've signed any kind of final releases is you're going to get a punch list. And a lot of times what we'll see in the contracting world is they're going to hold that review and payment, even more so, I guess, hostage until that's done. So usually the money talks and it forces them to go. So that's a really great point, and that's something to think about. And that's a great free tip from Zach from Liftify. Ask for those reviews. And any of my clients that are listening to this know this is something we tell you every single day, or every time we have a marketing meeting on a monthly thing, is ask them right when you're done. I mean, ask them when they're at the happiest, and you need to make sure that every single person in your company is a salesperson in respect that they are going to ask for those reviews, and you have those processes put in place. And the other cool thing I think that you mentioned, and I'm sure everybody caught it, is in most cases in the digital marketing world, and one of the challenges we see is that a lot of companies out there sell this one size fits all pill that's going to solve all your problems, right? We're going to do SEO. It's this very ambiguous service, and most of the time it doesn't work, and people get a really bad taste in their mouth. And online reputation management's another one of those industries I think is the same thing. They're just going to get some service they really don't know a lot about. Their head is in the sand, and they'll just get some sort of mass texting, or they get postcards sent out, or whatever the case may be. It just really isn't a comprehensive solution. And one of the things I thought was cool about Liftify, and the key word where is custom. When it comes to getting results and driving results, is as rinse and repeat as it is for the types of keywords we use and all this stuff. Every client is unique. Every service area is unique, and every type of service they provide is unique. So you need a custom solution. So you deserve a huge pat on the back and a round of applause just for incorporating a custom kind of idea into your offering for your services, because that's really difficult to do, especially at the scale that you guys are at. So I think that's really great, and makes, I guess, is a testament to why you guys are seeing the success and winning, the Conference Supplier of the Year award and the stuff and all the different achievements that you have had there. And I really appreciate the tips that you've given out and like kind of the solutions that Liftify offer. But I'm all about giving some information away. So let's say somebody, maybe they can't afford to pay somebody to do their online reputation management. What's like two fundamental things that they can do besides asking for that review right off the bat? Maybe let's give them a little bit of an actionable thing that they can respond with right now to maybe help them get a little bit more reviews for their business.
Yeah. Great question. Happy to share that. So one of them I already mentioned is huge.
Yep.
Get your customer's contact info. Like, just get it on the front end, or the first time you're there, get their mobile number, get their email. Yep. You never know when you might use that in their marketing, well beyond a review. So if you're a smaller company, do that, every single time, commit to it. The other thing I would tell you is at the beginning of the job, when you first start it, we call it prepping the customer in our onboarding process as we train them. Tell that customer, and we can, I'm happy to provide a script or, different things even that we use for our customers, but tell them, hey, I'm here to help you. We're going to solve this problem. And I want to do such a great job and give you a 5-star experience that at the end of this, you're going to leave us a review and you're going to want to tell other people about this. Like, that's my goal, to provide that level of service for you and prep that customer, and then obviously at the end, if you do make that ask, like you recommend, you say, hey, remember that conversation? Number one, have I done it? Have I given you that 5-star experience? Oh yeah, absolutely. Great, Ben, you were awesome. Thank you for your help. Great. Would you write that review for me? And that changes it, right? Because you already did it. The other thing that does for your technicians, if they have to give a speech about how they're going to give a 5-star experience and do such a great job that they're going to ask at the end, and you're going to expect that, you can bet that they're going to be looking at detail a little more. They're going to be going the extra mile. Like, you can build it into your culture, right? Because they already told the customer they're going to deliver a 5-star experience. So It helps them keep accountable too, to their business to do it. And so, getting contact information, prepping the customer. And then third, I would just say, is consistency. Like, just decide, we're going to do this. Even if it's you standing in front of somebody every single time, or your technician, and making sure they're asking. Don't let your team off the hook. If they just say, yeah, I've been asking, say, okay, well, you're the only technician that doesn't have a review this month. Why is that? I think it's probably because you're not asking. If you're not doing a good job, or you're not asking, which one is it? And so just be relentless, on them and commit to it. Like, that's, consistency, like anything in life, right, is just so huge to driving success. And I guess I'll throw in one extra one is like, why would you be consistent? Because you can see the long-term picture that this is going to add value to your business. In the short and long term, the internet's not going away. Consumers looking for businesses online is not going away. So if those two things are true, you need to have a good online reputation. So just decide, we're going to do this, and we know it's going to pay dividends down the road.
Yeah, that's great. I don't know. I think the word consistency, I probably mention it 75,000 times per episode with every episode we've ever recorded here. It is key. Consistency and building it in as part of your processes and your systems are great. I love what you said about the technicians because it's so true. And again, if you're listening to this, a lot of this stuff is just common sense, right? If you really think about it, it's common sense, but it's so hard in the pantheon of things that we have going on in your business. Is so hard really just to get back to basics sometimes and really just put things into focus to do things the right way. So, asking pre cooking your clients that I'm going to provide you a 5-star service is setting the bar for yourself to perform well. It will make them feel a lot more, you're going to build that level of trust right off the bat with them right away. They want to look at you as a partner versus somebody that's just providing some sort of service. And you got to understand the psychology behind the people you're working with is most of the time, or in property damage restoration, they've already dealt with some sort of catastrophic event, right? That's got them, they're displaced. They're just, so being that partner and that person that can hold their hands as being the expert and the authority in that space and what you're going to do is crucial. And your salespeople need to know that. So I love what you said, having these meetings and having like a Friday lunch meeting or a Monday morning, whatever the case may be, and really holding everybody accountable and saying you're either doing a bad job or you're just not asking. And it's so crucial for, maybe paint that picture for your employees and say, listen, if we want to grow and we want to make more money, we need to attract new talent. And one of the ways that we do that is by showing people that we are the best solution for whatever type of service we offer. And you are going to be representing our company and building that reputation from a boots on the ground perspective to help complete the picture of the digital perspective. So I think those are really great tips. Anybody that heard them is just going to have to Zelle us $50 every time for every one of the tips. Feel free to use them after you send the money. Just send us a receipt. No, thank you so much, Zach. So we talked about consistency is also crucial. We talked about why the reviews are important, why managing a Google business profile is important. We talked about some of the ways that Liftify helps, custom solutions, some of the problems in the industry. Let's look forward to the future. We have a lot of fuss over AI, a lot of fuss over the thousands of algorithm updates that happen on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis sometimes. Lucky for us that we get to deal with that and undo it. Anything looking ahead into the future that you see coming down the pipeline that may help, create a better online experience for people to get these reviews better or work on their Google business profile management that you'd like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, AI is the hot topic right now, and everybody wants to talk about how's it going to impact these different things. And what people need to understand is what's true about AI is it's going to allow, and already is, people to generate a lot of what I'll call fake content, for their business very easily. So anytime there's less friction, it's going to be very easy. You're going to see mass, spewing of content, right? On websites, blogs, whatever content that's going to go out. And just like 10 or 15 years ago with blogs, everybody's writing blogs. That was your whole SEO strategy, right?
Yeah.
Google eventually figures out, hey, these aren't even real articles written to real people. We're going to deprioritize these. And so you're going to have and are already seeing a huge influx of what I'll call fake content. Not that it's bad, it's just auto-generated. Just the amount of content is going up dramatically. So what's going to happen is search engines, and that's what AI is, right? It's just a search engine that's trying to deliver you results and give you information. What they're going to do is they're going to be looking and prioritizing authentic information. And so I actually think AI is great for reviews because your reviews, like your Google reviews, are authentic votes for your company. They're not spam. They're not anything else. They're real content. And these search engines and algorithms and things are going to look for authentic validation of companies. And so they're going to look for how many reviews you have, how frequently they are, what's your star rating. But they will also be able to read and more consistently include things like the comments. Or service tags are new in the industry, right? Last year, where people can actually choose remediation, water damage, whatever. I think Google will probably eventually start showing those counts, right? How many water damage votes do you have, on your Google page? How many reviews? And so they're going to be looking at all of those factors. And so it's going to become more important that you get that authentic, real content on your page. And we believe that it's going to have a bigger weight because there's just going to be more junk out there, right? That's just going to get auto-generated. And so whether it's, whether it's reviews or other marketing tools you can do from a digital perspective that is real, authentic, actually strategically done for your business, those things are going to win, in the long run. And that's what we see around AI is, it will help with that. I think what the other thing that it is going to help with, and we just released this yesterday in our platform, is AI generated responding to reviews. And so that's a big pain point for a lot of businesses. They want to respond uniquely and individually to everyone, but it's hard after like 50, to come up with something unique. And so like in our platform, there's just a button that says generate AI response. And in about 3 seconds, it'll give you one that it can respond with, and you can edit it further, but it just gives you that starting point. So there are some really good parts, of AI that will help with those, but it's not going to help you get more reviews because those have to be authentic, real people, right? And that real content will be more and more valuable for your business. I think it will help make the other stuff easier.
No, I totally agree. I think the writing's been on the wall for a while, even pre how crazy AI has been getting. Authoritative and helpful content is going to win. And what better way than having somebody write authentic, authored comment about your company, link to your company, that if you properly manage your profile and you're doing SEO the right way, maybe you are using AI generated blog or something like that, but you complete this picture, because when they do a crawl and they see, okay, well, you're a water damage restoration company in this area, but then they link it with all these different votes of confidence for your business, you're going to set yourself apart from everybody else. So as much of a headache as all these changes are for digital marketers, it really, at the end of the day, it's to help the end user, which is who your target client is. So you can huff and gruff about all these changes and as much as you want, but staying on top of this stuff and really doing the right thing at the end of the day is going to help you win. And I really appreciate you sharing that. That was really interesting with the AI stuff. And I guess you guys have a new AI generated response thing that's really cool to know about Liftify. So Liftify, how do people get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, well, follow me on social media. I'm always posting thought leadership type content. I'm not an expert like Ben. I'm getting to his level. I'm working towards it. I'm posting helpful content all the time, but that's an easy way. Go to liftify.com, just LAFTIFY.com. And if you're interested, we'd love to do a demo with you, kind of show you what we do, how it works, and what some of those things are. But yeah, those are two great ways to get in contact, or just email Zach, ZACH, at liftify.com. And I'll get back to you personally. If you have any questions, we'd love helping local small businesses succeed. Like, that's my life passion. And so if we can help do that and be a resource, we'd love to.
And we're going to add all of your, all Zach's socials and Liftify's social. I implore you to follow them. Take a look at their website and see who they're working with. Not only are they working with a lot of big major brands out there, but they're also working with a lot of smaller restoration companies and really helping people out. We're really excited to help, to have Liftify start helping a lot of our clients out there. We just see how much value it is. And it's a full-time job. Just with how important it is, you really cannot neglect it anymore. The reviews are not an afterthought anymore. They haven't been for the last couple of years. So it's really great to be able to, talk to people like you, Zach, and look at companies like Liftify out there that are really doing a comprehensive strategy to do this the right way. They're not just banking on ambiguity of the type of service and just throwing out something that's not going to be effective for somebody. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing. And I more so appreciate your time coming on and educating our audience about what you do, some of the problems, and then how you guys are solving them. You did let me know that you got a little bit of a discount for everybody out there. If you're listening to this and you reference the show, Zach's actually offering no setup fees, which is probably worth much more than he told me it's worth, but it's about a $500 value. I think it's worth much more than that to get this going for your business. So check Zach out, check out Liftify.
One thing, if I can throw in, that we kind of add as part of our setup process, is we'll go backwards and help you get reviews for your past customers.
Wow.
Most businesses we work with, 98% of their customers don't leave them reviews. And so that's the low hanging fruit for your business. Whether you work with us or not, go get those. We'll show you how to do it and be effective at it. So yeah, we'll do that totally free as part of this. If anybody's interested, just to, give it a shot, see how it works. And we do all the work. So I said before, small businesses don't need to buy more software. Don't go buy more software. You need results. And that's what we're focused on.
That's awesome, Zach. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to wrap it up for today. If anybody has any questions, we're going to have all the links to Zach's stuff, like I said, on the YouTube channel. You'll be able to see it on Spotify and anywhere we're streaming. Check out Liftify. Zach, thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to talking to you very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ben.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you then.